Hey everybody, guess what? We are live this morning. I'm here with Matt with Williamson Inc. How's it going today, Matt?
It's great. How are you?
Good, good.
Good.
A little chilly. Looks like it's going to rain, but
Yes, I think so. I think Friday. It is definitely getting a little colder. We're not quite past the cold spell for I guess late winter, early spring.
yeah. Tell us about your role at Williamson Inc. for people who don't know.
Oh, sure. So I'm president and CEO of Williamson Inc. Williamson Inc. is the county's Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development organization. We have 1,400 members 1,400 businesses who are members of the organization. We have about 85 of our large companies who invest in our economic development efforts. And our goal is simply to help grow the economy in a strategic, thoughtful, intentional way to create opportunities and career opportunities for our friends, family, and neighbors.
So right now, this is an interesting time. We were just talking about for everyone, like businesses and those who live here. Tell us what it looks like right now for small businesses.
Yeah, so it's hard. I mean, it's hard in Williamson County. It's hard across the country for small business. It's hard for people and companies in hospitality. This is a challenging time. We have been tracking and surveying our members and our community since the beginning, and the small businesses certainly have taken the brunt of what's happened in this pandemic, especially in the hospitality. So we've really marshaled our efforts to push people toward relief. And that relief has primarily been through the Small Business Administration disaster loan, and more importantly, the Paycheck Protection Plan, the PPP. That has been a critical tool for our community to help recover.
Yes. And so I know the second round of the PPP just came about. Has that ended yet, or can you give us an update on that?
I'd be happy to. Yeah, we actually just sent an email out this morning to our membership, making sure if they haven't to go ahead and apply for it. So that second round started last Friday. It ends when the money runs out, but there's still money left. Last I heard, it was about $100 billion across the country left in that PPP program. And what's really important is if you hit the criteria and you're able to retain your employees, you don't have to pay back the loan. And that is really, really important. We've done some initial survey work, and we found that the average award in Williamson County of the businesses who responded to our survey was $108,000, which can certainly make a big difference from some of our companies and small businesses to make it through this difficult time.
Yes. And even nonprofits can apply to that
That's
as
right.
well.
That's exactly right. Nonprofits can apply as well. We've heard from a number of our nonprofits who've received funds out of that program.
Yes. So what is the small business owners? What are they talking about? How they're feeling, and what do they feel about the
Yeah.
economy? What it's like here in Williamson County right now?
Yeah. So again, it's challenging, and so we've been surveying since the beginning of this, and we've been actually one of the things we've done is our team has called every single one of our members just to check on them, ask the simple question, "How are you doing, and what can we do to help?" And mainly it's financing. They need cash to help pay their employees, to pay their rent. They were looking at rent relief as options, talking to their landlord. We did a program a few weeks ago and gave them tips on how to do that. But at the end of the day, what small business needs, and really every business needs, are customers. And so as we see things starting to get back to normal, we definitely see, I think, an increase in maybe consumer confidence and an increase in how the companies feel about the customers who are coming back in a safe way initially, to really help those companies survive and eventually thrive again in our community.
Yeah, so we're doing a slow restart of our economy and things are rolling out slowly. How does that help the buildup of recovery?
Yeah, I think that's incredibly important because any sort of recovery restart has to be led with public health. That's the most important thing. One, I mean, look, there's a certain morality to it. But secondly, if we end up going back and we open up too quickly and there's a second wave, these small businesses that were hanging on will go under and it will decimate them. And so it's really important that we do go back in waves, that the customers feel protected, that employees feel protected, that people are doing the right things when it comes to personal protective equipment to keep their employees and customers as safe as they possibly can.
I've been hearing a lot about the Tennessee Pledge. Can you tell
Mhm.
us more about that?
Yeah, Tennessee Pledge was Governor Lee's, or is Governor Lee's, recommendations for businesses across Tennessee. And it really is ways that the company can keep their employees safe, can keep their customers safe. A lot of recommendations around social distancing, personal protective equipment, capacity size for their business, but really is a set of guidelines designed to help reopen this economy in a thoughtful and prudent way.
And I heard that there is going to be some signage available for businesses who want to post that say that they
Yeah.
are taking the Tennessee Pledge. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's exactly right. There is. And one of the things that we did when restaurant and retail came out, I guess last week, is we sent an email out to every one of our members, actually with a downloadable poster that they can print out themselves to put in their place of business to really let people know that they're taking this Tennessee Pledge seriously and that their employees and their customers have a certain set of expectations if they end up dining or shopping in those locations.
Yeah. How do you think that will affect consumers seeing that Tennessee Pledge
Yeah,
posted?
I think it will affect consumers in a really positive way. I think people will feel good knowing that this is a safe place and that the owners and the employees are taking these guidelines very seriously. So, that's one of the reasons that we ended up sending that out is for that very reason. So, we strongly encourage our employers to take that pledge, to follow those guidelines, and to keep everybody as safe as we possibly can.
Tell us what other ways that you guys are doing business differently. We just talked about you're doing virtual ribbon cuttings.
Yeah, we had our first virtual ribbon cutting, I think 2 weeks ago. The weeks, as you know, run together. So it could have been last year, it could have been 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it was the company, actually was a tech company. So he was able to run through his PowerPoint slide of what the company is and does. And we had 81 people on the call or attended the ribbon cutting, which is more than we'd have in a physical ribbon cutting. So we've got one tomorrow. We've got one next week. So we are seeing business. They're still investing. And I think that's one of the unique things about the Williamson County economy and how we're built is we're still seeing business and investment across the board in our community.
Yeah, you mentioned that because back in, was it 2008, where we went through a recession, which is similar to what we're going through, a little bit
Right.
different. Um, but somehow Williamson County was able to weather that storm. Tell us about the
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah, I'll be happy to. There's an interesting chart somebody released a few days ago looking at the way the sectors were impacted. And sectors, I mean hospitality, manufacturing, mining, healthcare. And what the person found is that back in '08 and '09, it was really construction and manufacturing. Those took the brunt of the hit. Now it's hospitality. But the sector so far that is impacted the least is professional and business services. Think all the headquarters and big offices in Williamson County, in Franklin, Cool Springs, and Brentwood. In fact, in Williamson County accounts for 20% of all management jobs across this entire state of Tennessee. So we have a
Wow.
lot of those business and professional services, which creates the demand for hospitality, retail, and restaurants. So, all things considered, that's a very positive sign for how our community is going to weather. Doesn't mean there's not pain and that people are experiencing real pain in our community. But if you just look statistically, that is a good measure for how long and how deep this will last in our community.
Yeah, so you talked about those corporate headquarters. There's a couple of them that are on their way or have made announcements recently about coming to Williamson County. Can you tell us about those?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So Mitsubishi Motors, moving from Los Angeles, made the announcement last year. Actually, just moved into their new physical space. The employees aren't there yet, but the office is up and running. They're at McEwen North Side. Actually, we'll be joining them here at some point later this year. But they're up and running. Their signage is there. Their office is built out, so they're ready to go when they decide it's safe for their employees to return. And then Spirit Airlines announced before this happened that they are putting in going to do an operations center in Williamson County. That's still going to happen. It's just the timeline has been moved back given what's happened across the country and across the globe when it comes to air travel.
Right. So is that going to be a physical location they're going to put here? I mean, have they announced where that's going to go yet?
They haven't made a formal announcement of where that's going to go, but I think it's somewhere in Cool Springs. It'll be about 400 to 500 employees when all is said and done. But it's their operations center. They really needed to get out of Florida because of the hurricanes, and so they did a nationwide search and eventually landed on Williamson County because of the favorable tax environment, the access to workforce, our great schools, a lot of the reasons other companies move here. And those fundamentals are really important of our economy, because those things that drew companies and people here before the pandemic will still be here after the pandemic. And I talked about a lot during the last recession. As long as we focus on the fundamentals, we'll be just fine as the economy at some point when this returns back to normal.
Right. What is your prediction on when things will go back to normal?
I mean, it's a great question, right? I mean, I know there are a lot of people making a lot of predictions about a lot of different things, and the truth is nobody knows. People can predict with 100% certainty after the fact, but right now we just don't have a clue. I think one of the things that becomes more ingrained with companies is the work from home. And I do believe that that's a real trend that we'll see. And I think it'll be a employee retention and recruitment tool. We've seen a lot of companies that have been able to utilize it, have been forced into utilizing it. And I think there's a comfort level from the employer and employee standpoint from work from home. So I do think that will be something that will be with us, but to what degree, it's really impossible to say.
Right. Well, I just thought I would get your point of view on that. We're all wondering the same thing. When
Oh,
are
sure.
things going to go back to normal, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah.
You just mentioned Williamson Inc. is moving to a new office,
Mhm.
Northside McEwen, which has
Right.
become a huge development. As you just mentioned, Mitsubishi is going in there. Tell us about your new office.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. We will end up occupying space in August or September. We it surveyed our own team about what they really wanted with new space, walkability, amenities, access to natural light. All those things are incredibly important. So we're excited to be there, and really excited to be in what is a cutting edge mixed use development with both a retail, restaurant, and living component there as well. So we're excited. Boyle Development, who has been our landlord, continues to be our landlord, and I think it's a great showcase when we bring companies to town that are looking to move here, to show them what the future of development looks like in Williamson County.
So I've driven by that development. So how much of that is completed? You just mentioned that some people are moving in. I
Right.
think Tiff Streets just
Yeah,
opened.
that's right.
I think there's a workout facility that just opened. I can't remember which one right now, but can you give us an update? Do you know, since you're moving into that development?
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how much is built out. I know that there is space for a tower that's identical to the one we're going in right across the street. So I'm guessing there's probably 25 or 30% of the development's built out so far.
Okay. It seems like they're working, like, I feel like something comes out of the ground every week over there when you
Yeah,
when you drive by,
yeah.
as I'm a frequenter of Whole Foods across the
Oh,
street.
yeah. That's right. That's right.
Um, well, I think this has been incredible to talk about all the new businesses. So tell us other ways that Williamson Inc. is trying to help the economy and
Sure.
keep all businesses focused on the future instead of what we're going through right now.
Yeah. I think it's important. We looked at this from an organization standpoint as meeting the immediate needs of our business. And after surveying, we knew it was financing, which is why we pushed everybody we could to the Paycheck Protection Program. We actually converted one of our team members into an SBA caseworker. So far, he's helped about 60 companies walk through the process. We've done 2 different seminars with the state director for SBA to really push people to that. And we've seen with some of the results of our surveys that was the right decision to make. So meeting the immediate needs is critical. And we've even done that from a mental health standpoint. We've had 2 different programs about how you survive this difficult time, when you're working from home and you're managing a family and you're managing your job. So we're trying to meet all the needs of our members right now. Moving forward, certainly that's important to look at the future. We had 4 events last week. I just got an email this morning. We have a number of events that are on our calendars coming up over the next month. And people can just go to our website, williamsonchamber.com, click on the events page, and they can look at all the different virtual events that we're making free to the public right now, because it's really important to meet people where they are. And we want to make sure the entire community has access to these resources, including a list of personal protective equipment suppliers that they can access and make sure that they keep their employees and their customers safe.
Yeah, that's really important. I've seen a lot of people messaging where can they find these things
Yeah,
as we return to getting out and about. And so
right.
people, they've been difficult to find. So that's a great
Yeah.
resource.
Yeah, they can go to our website, and that's actually williamsonchamber.com/coronavirus. And it actually has a lot of resources for employees, for employers. So there's a number of great resources on that site, including that list of personal protective equipment suppliers.
So, with the state of things being very uncertain and people questioning what the future looks like, would you consider Williamson County to be a stable business area?
Yeah, I would say we're incredibly stable, for sure. During the last recession, we were one of two counties in Tennessee that technically didn't experience a recession. Obviously, no one knows what's going to happen this time. No one knows how deep or long this is going to last. We haven't seen countywide unemployment numbers specifically yet, but we know there's a lot of pain. And there's especially a lot of pain in the hospitality retail community right now. But yes, in terms of moving forward, all the fundamentals that were in place, the great school system, the great quality of life, the low crime rate, the great access to healthcare, will remain after this pandemic. And I actually think we'll be positioned in a great way because the Nashville region is an incredibly diverse economy. We don't rely on one employer or one sector. And I think that's what gives us stability moving forward. So I think the Nashville region and Williamson County will be a great place for continued investment for the future.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for sharing that and giving us a little note of
Sure.
positivity for the day because I feel like we're all just trying to figure out how we're going to get through this.
I think you're right. It's survival mode, right? And everybody hits their wall at different times. You just have to be there and meet people where they are. And I think that's really important for us to meet our members where they are to help them with their immediate needs. And then once we can do that, help them plan for the future.
Yeah, you also mentioned mental health, and May is Mental Health
Mhm.
Awareness Month. Can you touch on those real quick for anyone who feels like they may need some help or support in that area?
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of great partners that we have that are members. The Refuge Center for Counseling is a great member, and they've actually been the speakers at our First Friday event, the last two First Fridays. I believe those are archived on our website, our YouTube page. People can go back and get some really great tips on how to make sure they've got the mental health resources. And I think the longer this goes, the more important that becomes. Because like I said, everybody's got their own breaking points. Everybody has their own walls they hit. And having those resources and access to professionals, I think, is critically important in this time.
Yeah, yeah. Just like all of us who are trying to homeschool, work, and
Yeah.
maintain some sort of mental stability.
Oh, well, that's right. And I will say the Williamson County Schools Franklin Special have been fantastic in this. My kids' teachers in particular have been amazing. They made personal visits this last weekend to all the fifth graders in elementary school and posed for photos with a sign in the yard. They're starting to do, they have been doing classes now, Zoom classes. My kids are in Zoom classes every day.
Yeah, mine
Um,
too.
yeah, I think people have a much greater appreciation of the teaching profession than they did before. It's not easy, and it certainly isn't easy when you're talking about a district of 41,000 students. But our school system continues to be a great asset for our community, and it is the single most important economic development asset we have, our two public school system and our private and independent schools as well.
Right, because that's our future, right?
That's exactly
Yes,
right.
I can't say enough. Isn't it also, I know I keep adding on. I think
Okay.
it's also Teacher Appreciation Week. So
Ah,
yes, I
yes, yes,
appreciate all those teachers for everything that they do.
yes, and it's actually Economic Development Week too. So
Oh, there we
there's
go.
a lot of weeks this week.
A lot of weeks. All
Yeah.
right, tell everybody again where they can find more information.
Sure. They can go to our website. It's williamsonchamber.com. You'll see on the homepage a link to our calendar of events. You'll also see on the homepage on the banner a link to our resource page. If you want to go there directly, it's williamsonchamber.com/coronavirus. Great information for your employees, for employers. And then go to our YouTube page as well. There's archive of the events we've been doing since this pandemic, and there's some great programming on the Paycheck Protection Program, the mental health that I mentioned that people can go back and watch at their leisure.
Yes. And for those, since you mentioned some of those things are free now to the public, if you've never been involved in the chamber, want to
Right.
know what it's like to attend an event, you can just go virtually. This is a great way to do it.
Yes, absolutely. This is a great time to plug in. And I think for our businesses that have been members, I think they've seen the value from the resources that we've provided, the personal attention that we've given them. I mean, this is, I talk about my team a lot. This is the time where you really learn as an organization, are your core values just words in a PowerPoint, or do they mean something? And I need to say, and I've said it a lot publicly and privately, I'm so proud of every single one of our team members who have stepped up to really help and serve in this time. It's amazing. I joke about when people get their job description and they see other duties as assigned as one of the bullet points. For sure, so many team members have stepped up and really gone above and beyond for those other duties as assigned. So I'm proud of our team. They're a great asset for our members and a great asset for our community and our region.
Well, I can echo that. All the people I've worked with there have been incredible, and I really appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, we will see you soon. We'll check in later so we can talk about how things are going on during our recovery and reopening. But thanks again for coming today.
Sure. Thank you, Donna. I appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Bye.
Bye.